Good afternoon, Frederick County, Virginia, the United States of America, and everybody that's out there. God bless you. Welcome today to the Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries. We are the 3%. And as you know, we try to bring some of the latest and greatest stuff that's going on in our country because, let's face it, we have to save this country and we only have such a certain amount of time to do it. So before we get started with a great guest today from LeadRight US, my buddy Spencer Pipkin, who I've gotten a chance to know pretty well over the last 4 years. I think you guys are going to be fascinated with what he's got to share, especially with elections coming up. But I'm going to share with you a little bit about Mountain Patriots. What we're doing right now is this is our 250th anniversary of our great country. We are a republic. As Benjamin Franklin said, yes, ma'am, if we can keep it. So we definitely want to keep it. So with all of the things that are happening on our 250th anniversary, most people have no idea how this country got started or the bloodshed that happened or the lives, the liberty, and everything else that went into it. So I'm going to share something with you on our homepage at mtnpats.com. We want you to come over and sign up. Send us a letter. Tell us what you think. Let us know you want to join one of our ministries. But most importantly, we are doing historical podcasts all year for the 250th anniversary. Tomorrow, we are doing episode 6 with a great friend and historian and patriot, our buddy Larry Johnson, the Liberty Man. And we're going to talk about the Declaration of Independence, so you don't want to miss that. But our historical podcasts give people a chance to either in costume or out of costume. We prefer in costume, but to bring an American patriot or somebody, a historical figure, to life for us and let us interview that person. We're looking for dads, moms, teachers, business owners, history buffs to bring those historical figures to life and be part of our time machine so that we can share this into posterity with people that come with us, come after us. And after we're gone, they get a chance to see all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into not just the first American Revolution, which is literally called the Glorious Cause, but this revolution and how we saved America at the same time. So this is for our 250th anniversary. Step back in time, relive history like never before. You can find our videos at mtnpats.com or wakeupwinchester.com. And this is where you sign up. Just submit. We'll get back to you. And we're good to go from there. So I'm going to turn this over to my great friend, Marley Charker. Okay. We have to have, if we can't have fun on this, don't do it. But Charlie Markert, he is the vice chair of Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries, and he's going to take us through our great guest today, Spencer Pipkin. And Spencer's going to show us a lot of things to help us, another tool that we can use big time to save America. So it's all yours, Charlie.
Well, thank you, Dana. Would you give us your elevator speech on what the purpose of LeadRight is and something that might convince us that this is something we want to look into? And then we'll get into the details and parse it and figure out how to understand and benefit from what you guys are doing. And it sounds really exciting that something that's going to really help organizations like ours move forward. So, Spencer, if you would, please.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Dana, Charlie, and Scott. Appreciate all y'all for allowing me to speak. So just really briefly about LeadRight, our main goal is to win more conservative victories, not just elections, but legislative victories, regulatory victories, election victories, cultural victories. We noticed that the Democrats were doing a little bit of a better job of mobilizing people across the country. And we looked and said, what are they doing? And they had solid event discovery, solid event ticketing, and a grassroots action platform where people could sign up to get involved. We didn't have that. I'm sure people have tried to go and volunteer their county Republican Party. If you really care about like pro-life and the personhood movement, or you care about the Second Amendment and stopping gun grabbers, it's very hard because you go to a county party and they say, well, go knock doors for this candidate, go knock doors. It's not really what you're interested in. So we tried to find a place where people could actually go get involved with stuff they're interested in and maximize their effort and efficiency. Because when people are passionate or care about an issue, there's going to be a lot better results. So that's our goal. And we don't want to just be election focused. We want to be focused on winning conservative victories 24/7, because I think that's what's frankly been wrong with our movement the last 40 years. We've been too election focused.
Boy,
We were the same way.
is that ever true? That I have, just from afar, watching the whole thing unfold. It's always been amazing how organized and how unified the opposition is to what we stand for, and how disorganized or sparsely organized we are as conservatives that are trying to protect the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence, our founding documents and our founding purpose. Um, so, so who is your target audience for this? And this is a piece of software residing in the cloud and that you subscribe to, is that right?
Yes, sir. So we're currently developing our iOS and Android app. That takes a while, and we want to make sure we do that right.
Hmm.
So right now
Oh,
it lives
definitely.
online at www.leadright.us. That's our main platform, LeadRight America. Um, so anyone can come there that's a conservative volunteer, a conservative activist, a donor, or somebody who just wants to attend an event or is interested. It's a great place for an individual to come to get involved or to, advance the efforts they're already doing. But from an organizational side, this is really meant for every conservative organization, from county parties to political action committees to nonprofits to organizations like Mountain Patriots
Right.
to, I know young Republican groups. I know we've spoken to some other clubs that have come on and stuff too, local groups, patriot type groups that are we have a couple election integrity groups that came on that aren't county party affiliated or anything like that. So we try to make it a place where everyone can come, and you don't have to necessarily have like an umbrella organization. We believe that kind of opening it up in this dispersion model is really how we get conservatism and our Republican values and our Christian values out to the public, because once people hear our values, they're very hard to debate.
Right.
We always win a debate pretty much. So we think that this dispersion model both involves the public and both involves like institutional stakeholders and people like y'all at Mount Patriots and like CR organizations and stuff like that. So it's kind of dual focused, if I word it that.
Let me ask you a question, Scott. You've been on both sides of all of this. Okay, you've run as a candidate. You were looking at how to get in to be a candidate, how to get the. Remember when we started with you, when we started together, you were looking for, I have to come up with X amount of dollars. I don't know how to get this platform going. What did you see in your campaign that Spencer might be able to help you with? Because I know you've been through this.
The biggest problem I had was just getting people to donate their funds. Once I started getting attacked by certain elements in this county, that's when I started getting people that wanted to donate because they wanted to fight against the cabal, as I call them, who were trying to derail everything. Getting funding is the hardest thing, but whoever's going to be a candidate, and this is my personal issue with being a candidate. I mean, I am not a touch me, feel me kind of guy. I'm not a social butterfly. I'm not a party guy. So for me I've had to go way out of my comfort zone to do anything as far as shaking people's hands and knocking on doors was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. And I've stood in a housing unit when I had 60 inmates that said, make me lock down. I'd rather do that than go knock on somebody's door and go, hey, will you vote for me? So the biggest thing is just finding a candidate that wants to do it for the right reasons. I remember I was in one of the schools and
that's a key point.
They had all the kids making platforms in whatever government class they were in if they were going to run a campaign. I remember one girl, she was struggling. She couldn't figure out what her platform should be. I said, well, let me ask you a question. What makes you mad? And she thought about it for a second. I said, really, what makes you mad about society? And I forget what her answer was. I said, there's your platform. I said, whatever ticks you off, there you go. You run on that.
And Spencer, that's some of the stuff that your platform would kind of It's about the passion on what you're doing for all of the conservative group, not just getting someone elected. Because you said it's not just about banging on doors, or making phone calls and phone banks. It's knowing also where events are, what people stand for, and so forth. Am I correct?
I believe so. And I'd add this too. I think part of the reason why it sometimes feels awkward to go up to a door and knock is I think and I don't mean to sound like I'm talking bad about anybody, but I don't think our Republican Party entities have done a good job of keeping relational have done a good job of relational organizing and keeping
Yeah.
actual relationship with community like stakeholders. So I think it's made it a lot harder for Republican nominees or conservative nominees or independent nominees to actually go out and meet people. So one thing that we do is when people sign up for an account, it's optional, but people can sign up and say, hey, I'm interested in the following events, or these are the policy areas, or I care about local government or state
That's
government or
very good.
federal government. So whenever you actually post an event as like a candidate or an organization, we promote it to people that are interested in that. So it's not like shooting in a barrel, a crap shot. We really try to do that focused. Another thing too is we developed in-house like a proprietary machine learning. So this actually allows us to go and tell like, hey, is this person somebody that actually is going to get involved? And a lot of systems don't do that. I'm sure y'all have probably gotten 30 different texts during election day.
Yeah,
And that's because
a
we don't have
day.
data uniformity like the Dems do. Um, and so part of that will help with that too and keep people a little bit more involved. But we actually promote it out to new people that are outside. We actually have options too where people that are candidates or organizations can integrate their WinRed or their payment processor that they have to accept
Right.
donations. So you don't have to get something else new. You don't have to whatever. It all goes to the same place. And of course, we promote opportunities to donate. We say, hey, we'll send out emails actually, to users and say, hey, Mountain Patriots is, doing a fundraising
Conference.
campaign or a membership drive or something like that. Like, would you like to join? Would you like to help donate? And so we've got options like that. Of course, some of those are improving a little bit as,
Hmm.
because we're still less than a month from actual launch from everything. So there's still a tiny bit of learning with some stuff,
Perfect timing.
to be completely honest, but which drives me nuts. But I want everything like now, like instantaneous. But some of those features will continue to improve. But we are, you know, and I think Scott can probably tell more about this, and I feel like I'm rambling. But the two biggest things that I hear when I talk to organizations, to candidates, to anybody is I need more time and I need more money.
Right.
Time and money are the two biggest things that we face in the political industry,
So,
and especially
if I may, so in addition to the time and the money and being able to
Time, talent, treasure.
schedule things and accept money for uh, dues and payments and contributions and the like, is this also a platform where our platform positions can be made visible so that people can find us by virtue of the fact that we may be pro-life, we may be
Anti-child trafficking.
trafficking, whatever those issues might be. Um, will we be as a customer organization visible in however we want to be on your platform so that we can actually be found, that helps someone maneuver their way through the platform to find us?
great question. So right now, the answer is yes. We have a couple different things that allow for that. So we have features based off of tags and stuff. So if like you were to create an event, there's like event tags that people can use to help find that. And also as an
Okay.
organization, when you do an onboarding, you kind of give some tags and tell us.
Right.
So that matches up. We're
Right.
working at creating a public interface right now as part of our first large update. So as our first large update that's coming in about 2.5 months is where we're tracking it right now to do a rollout. It will have that. It will have it where people can actually go and view what we call like an organizer page. So
Hmm.
people can say, okay, this is Mountain Patriots. Here's the link to their website. Here's a link to donate if I want to donate. Here's some policy platforms. If y'all would like, here's some contact information or social media. Who's like, here's the officers and stuff like, you can give how much information you want to give or don't want to give. Um, and then we're also working, of course, on improving our payment systems and then actually hosting virtual events within the platform
Very cool.
that automatically like create Zoom links, attach it to the videos and sends that out and promotes it. So we're trying to really streamline that. But that is to partially we have it, but we fully will have that within about a 3-month period, I would say.
See, where all these patriot groups are getting together and putting this kind of stuff together, nobody was prepared for what happened before COVID. Okay. I mean, I remember doing presentations to accountants and brokers and financial planners. Instead of going to see them, I had to do them by Zoom. I had to learn something new. Then COVID came, I couldn't go do anything. And then we found out all of these things that are going wrong and all of these issues that a lot of us did not even know that exists. So if your platform, if somebody is upset about certain topics like child trafficking or vaccine mandates or child's health defense or education, things like that, if somebody wanted to find something like that for an organization that they could link with, they could go to LeadRight and they would say, wow, Mountain Patriots is into food drives, holistic medicine, anti-vax. They're against the LGBTQ stuff that happens at our schools. That's the kind of organization that I'd like to look at and I want to either join or donate to, correct?
100%. Yes, sir. Not
That's
just
what
join or donate, but sign up for
so
events,
cool.
volunteer, do all that type of stuff. Yes, we tried to make it to where any type of activity you could do with a political organization in
Mm-hmm.
person can be initiated online. One thing that just speaking to a lot of people is, people go to a meeting, they're very excited, they're really charged up, they want to do something. And if you don't really follow up and hit that kind of quickly, within 48 hours, that
They're
person is like,
gone.
hey man, I got a barbecue coming up on
Right.
Tuesday, I got a low country going on Thursday. Like, what are you talking about? So we thought, and some of our features
Great.
and tools work into this. So like we have it set up where if you would like, you can send out like a survey after an event that you host. So you can collect some information about what did you do wrong? What did you do right?
Right.
What can you do better? Sending out texts as well to prompt donations and say, hey, we thank you for coming and donating your time. You know that if you sent $15-$20 that it would really maximize the 2 hours that you put in beyond belief.
That's great.
Doing stuff like that. And we found, we did some beta testing and with a prototype a couple years ago with about 3 congressionals, about 25 different campaigns, and we found about a 30% increase in engagement across the board when people were prompted like that.
All we need,
Will
Charlie.
will this have the ability once let's say for us it's elections are important and we will go door knocking
Yep.
and phone banking and whatever
Still do the
else.
same thing.
Yeah. Is there a way on this platform to keep track of the 17 volunteers that I have pulled together in a couple of precincts, um, so that I can maybe contact them all at once? I can just remember who they are. I can pick up a phone number from in there. I know I can do all of this on my telephone, but well, no, I can't do it. I mean, I can have them on my phone, but if I forget
And then
them,
I have to copy paste, copy paste, copy paste,
right,
copy.
right. So, so there's a need, I think there's a need out there to be able to manage my own little group of volunteers to be effective. Is there any portion of this, any features that you have or you're considering to do in the future?
Yes. So our we've got about a team of about seven guys actually just onboarded a sales contractor and started this week. Our chief operating officer, Gabriel, he has been really passionate about this. He comes from a marketing background. And one thing that we are working on, and unfortunately couldn't get it this one, but it will be coming in that 2.5, 3 month round, is we've been looking at actually putting an email function within the platform, where of course it takes the
Perfect.
branding of the organization,
Right.
and they can email people, or text them directly from the platform. We would love to do that. And also we get that people have other things like MailChimp or have a constant contact or other emails. So what we were doing then is kind of a free function, is to go and say, hey, if you want, you can just upload the other contacts in here too, and just send all your emails from here. There's been a little bit of some security concerns with that, of course, and some security issues of just having to make sure that anything that's uploaded is clean in that sense. So that's taken a lot longer than expected, but I think that will definitely be huge. I mean, 9 out of every 10 organizations we talk to says something like that. People are tired of the fragmented disconnectedness of political technology and managing a political organization. There's no reason why you should have to go to 40 different places to host an event. Like you got to go to 40 different things a month. You've got to go to your WinRed, you got to go to your Amdot, you got to go to your Zoom, you got to go to all these different, you got to go to Eventbrite, you got to go to Facebook, Twitter, just everywhere.
So this would eliminate something like MailChimp, right?
Oh, sir?
So instead of using like MailChimp or Constant Contact or iContact or something like that, this will soon have the functionality to be able to do that, and I can replace that.
Right. And we also are having it to where once you create an event, you can turn it on to create a social media post. So it'll post a social media post with an embedded link. So when people click on it, it will automatically take them to your LeadRight event page. And then they can sign up from right there and buy a ticket and all that right there.
And it's cheaper than like WinRed or Eventbrite. Because I was looking at this and I was trying to do some comparisons, and I know that Eventbrite charges a boatload. I mean, let me have an event to pay Eventbrite.
Yeah, they price gouged. And another thing is too, and I just had this sent to me, so I'm not being rude by pulling this up, but I just had this sent to me this morning by Gabriel, our chief operating officer. He texted me. He was like, before you go on the podcast, he said, I wanted to let you know. He said, this is just in California alone. Eventbrite direct contribution donated 26,980 just to the young Democrats, the young Democrats. So including the Democratic Party, the county organizations, or anything else. But I mean, just in these last couple of cycles, we know just the two-party entities, they donated over $55,000. They donated 18,000 direct to Kamala Harris. So they're charging us 7% plus $2.79 a ticket or something like that to go take our money and our data and then go give it to Kamala Harris and California Democrats. No, something about that doesn't sit right with me.
No.
At all. And Facebook with their 10%, they're not any better too. They are just as bad. But yeah, no, we're significantly cheaper at 3% and then $150 a ticket.
Can you show us how your platform works, Spencer? This has been good. Charlie, what do you think, man?
Well, I'm impressed so far.
I've been following Spencer for you and I have been talking for about 4 years. Easily.
4 years, yeah.
Easily 4 years.
Perception of it and everything.
Yeah. This goes back to, my gosh, before the 2023 election.
Good software takes a long time to develop.
It does.
Yeah, and it's trying to do it right and making sure I'd rather do it slow than do it fast and have a lot of issues to do. I viewed this as like building a bridge. It is our infrastructure. I believe in, so I want to.
I watch my wife do this kind of stuff, Spencer. I mean, she is a genius, but I'm telling you, she's slow and steady, and I'm like, come on, can you get this done? And she's like, but this is not going to work the way you want it to work if I do it like this really fast. Okay, I want this to be perfect. So if you go to mtnpats.com, you'll see her work.
No, and when it represents you and it represents your values, you want to make sure it shows. Is it showing up correct? Good for y'all?
Yeah,
this is great.
Perfect. So this is what, when you first come up to
Just out of curiosity,
leadright.us.
I apologize. Can you make it just a little bigger? Is that possible?
Yeah, of course, of course. Sorry,
Okay,
I have.
that way people can see, because we're going to get this out to a lot of friends of ours. We're plugged in with a lot of really good, solid, conservative, some good Christian people that
Good.
just love this country, and I think this is great. I want to be able to see it.
Well, I want to see it too because we put a lot of hard work into it, and I'm
Yeah,
really proud of it because
this is great.
um and like for example, when you just pull it up right now, these are actually live events that you can get tickets to right here that
Mhm.
are going on in Georgia. Um, so just kind of explains a little bit about the platform right here on the main page. Um, one platform for every conservative voice. I said it last night, and I'll say it again for this though. The the mainstream Republicans, I don't think, that are just showing up to vote don't understand how much they're under attack and their values are, whether it's not directly against them. So Riley Gaines, they said that she is
Yeah.
a hate monger, that she is transphobic. So they banned her and withheld money from her account. And that was back in 23.
Right.
They've kicked off conservative groups in Coachella, California, saying that they were hate groups,
Right.
flagging them. They have withheld money over $60,000 from a national party entity for the Republican Party. So they'll do that. And there's also records of shadow banning. So we really try to be a place where everyone can come within the tent and not have to worry about any of that. And there's just an example of some clients and stuff like right here and who we work with. So we partner with WinRed for payments. We all, like I said, that we also are having an agnostic payment processor. So if you have Anadot, if you have Stripe, PayPal, Public Square, whatever you have, we will be able to accept and
So
be
we
able
can
to
hook
work
to you
with.
for that because we have those
100%.
real quick, Spencer, and
Yeah.
this you'll like because I know what you're going through.
Mhm.
As a conservative Christian group, we had a conference. We've
Mhm.
had 8 of them. We're about to do our 9th one, so we'll be talking about that. But right before the conference, Stripe knocked us off. I mean, it was like my wife had to rebuild all of that stuff in what, 2 days? Holy cow! We had to go to Square. So so we could. The reason I'm asking is so we can kind of couple with you with what we're doing as a payment platform. Correct?
Correct. Correct. So
Boom.
we don't. One thing is we try not to displace any tech that people have because I know
I
some
got
people
you.
work with groups, and I've had some people that have had poor experiences with one, and others that have had great experiences with
Right.
that same one. I think some of it depends on who
That's
your
right.
account manager is.
Right.
So we try not to have it where people have to change. Um, and some of the stuff we talked about earlier, stuff like volunteer management, I know Charlie was asking about, you can see on here on some of our features list. We call it the organizer suite, where you can come in and do all this. We have check-in and scanning that will be live very soon, custom event pages, promotion tools like social media, and embedding it within your website. We are currently developing an API for that. So
Very
you put a
cool.
Mountain Patriot event on LeadRight, you can get an API from us and you can put it on your website. So if somebody signs up there, it's going to, go back and forth and
I love it.
decrease that for you, decrease that workload for you. And then, of course, some features we have for attendees, event discovery, ticketing, an interactive map. People really love being able to visualize what's going on in their community.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, saved events, and they can follow organizers and organizations that they like and get notified when their events are going on.
So you can
Um,
follow other organizations on here too. So if
100%.
very cool. So my question would be, since we have Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries, we also work for work with Virginia Medical Freedom Alliance, Shenandoah Christian Alliance. City Elders is huge,
Mhm.
and you met Kevin the other night. But we can kind of collaborate with these things together and let each.
100%.
So the left hand knows now what the right hand is doing.
Right. And this is the beautiful thing about this is there's like coordination laws, with like spending all this money and what you're supposed to do with campaigns and stuff. Does not apply in a situation where there's a company that's hosting events and it's a public display, like a public forum, which is why we call ourselves like the master calendar or the community bulletin board of the conservative movement. So you can literally put everything up here, and that's never really been allowed before until now. So I think this is really advantageous for our movement as well to have one like centralized clearinghouse to go to and say, okay, this is where I can hit.
I want to ask Scott a question real quick because I'm looking at like volunteer sign up and interactive map and calendars and things like that. If he's running, let's say he's running for school board, okay, which he's on, how would he use this as a candidate with some of these features? Because I know we're going to be asked that. Plus, we have candidates that we happen to like as well.
And before you dive into that,
mm-hmm.
the one thing in my particular case and several other people, the not knowing, wanting to do it, but not knowing how to do it, that was my thing. I learned as I went piecemeal. I did everything on my own. I had nobody helping me. I asked a couple people. Nobody wanted to help me. So I was manager, treasurer, the whole 9 yards. But to find out how you do it, who do you go see, like the finances thing, that I just by a fluke found out about a class somewhere in Arlington, and I went to this class, and I'm like, oh, that's how you do that. But that's a lot of the problems with running for the campaign. You might have the heart to do it, but you're intimidated by the process because there's nobody there to tell you A, B, C, D, getting your federal ID number for all that stuff. Nobody tells you how to do that. You pretty much have to figure it out on your own. So
that's why I asked you, Scott, because those are great points. Spencer, how would that work if somebody if they wanted to start a campaign? Would you be able to help them, guide them through it?
Yes, so Gabriel has been working on this as well. We've noticed, and I'll just say this too, there's consultants control a lot of political power, money, policy, campaigns, and everything on our side. Campaign managers have been replaced by consultants because campaign managers are now executing the will of consultants. It's the only industry where a consultant can walk in and fire half the staff, even though they're technically unemployed by the organization.
So you lose control with that consultant.
You lose control. And I've managed races. I've had consultants where I've answered to, and it's been, hey, this is what we're going to do. And I've got a consultant that's in Virginia when I'm in Georgia. No, I think we need to do this. You've been to my county twice. So what we have with that is and I'll show you all this in a little bit too, because this kind of links in with it. Yeah. But we have some stuff like that where basically it gives we call it like a consultant assistant. We're still working on the name, but it's about $20 a month. But it basically goes through and it directs you on how to do all that stuff. It directs you on how to do the filings, when to file. It provides a timeline. It also goes through and uses precinct level data to identify where specifically you're more likely to find voters that align with your values at. So if you're not having to go out and pay for really expensive data sets and things like that would cost way more. So that's one way that we're working to kind of help out with candidates.
So and then, on that, I apologize, Mr. On that link, you just said you would know kind of the demographic of where the voters are. Okay. Mm-hmm. So instead of standing in front of a gas station trying to get people to sign up for you, you would be able to know pretty much where your values align with those people. So you would save time by being able to go to the place that you're most likely to get the people that would back you.
100% down to the precinct, down to the zip code. And it gets down to what we're working on. It was like a heat map almost. You can tell hey, this street really loves me. I don't know what it is about this neighborhood, but I'm getting a lot of love from this neighborhood. But yes, and not knowing. And that's one thing too about with the social media posts coming in and promoting that, and also having the virtual events being able to be created. That and the email in-house that, I think that'll really help, especially smaller campaigns that aren't looking, people that are running for school board, people that are running for county commission, people that are running for county judge or county sheriff, people aren't looking to spend $6,000 a month on a retainer, especially liberty-minded individuals. We're not usually like, you know what, I want to spend $6,000 a month to be clerk of court. just doesn't, it's
I,
not
I
something.
came nowhere near that in the whole time I ran. I think I
We were
ended up
grassroots.
I think I ended up maybe getting about $2,300 all told for my whole campaign. You
That's
know,
how God and the founders probably intended it to be too.
We just had push. I mean,
100%.
Scott came into Mountain Patriots. We all loved what he was doing, and all of us worked the polls. I mean, it's just how we do things, you know. We try to support each other. This is great. I am really
So
impressed. So you
I've
can
got
give us. You
like
said something
kids.
about the street. So all these people on the street love me. It takes me back to my rainbow vacuum days, where I knew what neighborhoods were good because I kept track of that by pencil and paper and
Mhm.
family trees and who I sold and everything else. I like the fact that you would know pretty much where to go. Boy, what a time saver. Charlie, you were going to say
Right.
something.
Yeah, I was going to ask the unasked question so far. Suppose I'm a liberal and I want to come on and use your site.
Mhm.
How do you deal with that, or do you even deal with that, or are they welcome to use your site?
Yeah. So a couple different things with that. If somebody is a genuine, I'm interested in, I might have been wrong. There are occasionally some people that want to switch over.
We're
That's
seeing
one
that.
thing. And part of that too, we're able to tell a little bit if we get some people that are signing up um, in waves like that. So part of it is we're able to kind of geographically tell, not exactly like, hey, this person's this address or whatever, but we're able to tell, hey, are we up seeing a lot of people that are coming out of San Bernardino, California, all of a sudden? This is a little bit weird. And there's some timestamps that flag. So it can also flag with some data that we have, both proprietary and from party entities. So there's some tranches and verification that's built into that. The next thing is that just from having done prototypes and having had listened to other political tech, that have had to deal with some of that of I guess like some infiltration or trying to like spy on
That's the
what's
key
going
word.
on.
Hmm.
Um, they There are some hallmark signs that are usually told like when they sign up. There's some certain things that they always
Okay.
do, and that's pretty easy to identify. We have a great terms of service. We can boot them off the platform within 5 seconds. They're done. And then we can block their IP address from ever signing up. So if somebody ever causes an issue, we do it. Um, I pray we don't have that as much. I don't think we will because thankfully the Democrats we put actually a little bit of like a login and a barrier to prevent that. The Democrats on their version they don't have one, so if they ever get a little bit too rowdy, I think we can probably annoy them a little bit. But no,
Kind of like
that is
AdBlue.
flagged. And especially for like pro-life organizations and some
Hmm.
other groups that I know have faced literal death threats and people are
Oh
trying to
God, yeah.
kill some of our pro-life warriors. Some of those groups we have built-in features and are currently still working on some literally today that um like I said flags those, or if you have people that are, have a history of voting left and all of a sudden they're showing up for a pro-life mark. There's some stuff that's looked into with that.
We're seeing that.
And also, if we believe that there's criminal activity or someone's going to do criminal or go and like hurt somebody or something like that, we reserve the right to get law enforcement involved just as a preventative measure. So we've tried to take steps to really make sure that our users are protected while also kind of being like I hate to say it is the internet, but the internet can be the Wild West. So we're trying to, you know, insert some of those guardrails while not infringing on people's data and their privacy, which is,
So you do have a
yeah.
Marshall Dillon.
Sir?
So you do have a Marshall Dillon.
Marshall
Yes.
Dillon.
Yeah.
Good.
Gunsmoke.
before his time, Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. Come on, that's Gunsmoke. Cut it out, Festus.
We we do. We go through and we do a security sweep as far as like
That's
security
what we need to know.
vulnerabilities. We do that twice a day. I'm not going to tell the time that we do it at. We
I
can't do
get
that.
no.
But
Never saying.
we do that twice a day. We take regular steps of changing passwords, doing stuff like that. But we also actually go through and look through like who are our users, what's going on, and like I said, a lot of times these people on the left they're very if you see a person who's gone, they attended a pro-life meeting for 7 minutes and they're based out of San Bernardino or San Francisco or the Bay Area in California, and they've never signed up for another event, or they're signed up, you can kind of start to pick up on some of these things. Okay,
Got it.
we've got
So
this
what else will
identified.
this do? I'm looking at Ashford. It says good
Yeah.
morning, good afternoon, Ashford. Now, what does this do? This is an event, correct?
Yes, this is an actual live event on the platform.
Very cool.
So we, of course, list events. It lists like your event achievements and stuff right here. So we want people to see kind of what's going on, and kind of the milestones that they're reaching on LeadRight. So they have actually hit $1,000. Like they're doing pretty good with this one. They've sold 7 tickets and made $2,500.
Wow.
So
Not
that's
bad.
really good. Um, so we can go
Boy,
to
Charlie,
events
this would help us.
right here, and you can just see some of these are, the events that we have going on in Georgia. And I don't, oops, sorry, clicked too fast. And see, like I said, we have these tags right there, of local, GOP, state, federal. We have several more than this. This is just the ones that they chose to use. Of course, it links out the address right here, along with the time, and then a brief description. And then they've connected their WinRed. So their checkout experience can actually be done through us here as well.
Very cool.
So they could just buy tickets direct in here. And so now when you create an event through some of the stuff like we were talking about, we have some issue tags like we were mentioning. Those we update about once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks is the plan, to try to add 2 or 3 very popular ones that we haven't quite picked up on yet. And you can go and create an event of really any type. I mean, if you're trying to do like a day of action or like a door knocking or something like that, or phone banking in there, you can select those. And, especially if you're a candidate, it's like, hey, I care about, my top 3 issues are Second Amendment, it's education, and it's protecting the faith and family that we have. So, or, top 5, how many ever you want to select. I can
Charlie,
select
that's
that.
us right here. Campaigns, and I'm looking at virtual events. That could be our meetings that we do. Okay, then we have our live in-person meetings, and we have our conventions and conferences. Okay, pro-life, parenthood, because we are working with Obamacare, Second Amendment. We have our things at the range. I mean, this thing could do all kinds of stuff, especially for a small group, especially a small group like us.
Oh yeah.
No, it can. And we also have it too where you can do like free events as well, because we know not every event's paid. Sometimes you
Right,
just need
we do a lot of
people
that.
just need events. Just
Right.
it just saves time to have it posted. It's that simple. So again, we just have free events and stuff where you can add multiple tiers of tickets and stuff. You can also add a donation link. So if you have another, if you want to have like an RSVP event, but say I want to accept donations. I think y'all said you had Square, so you can put your Square link in there, so it'll
Right.
automatically take you out to the Square link from LeadRight. And that would be how you create an event. It's super simple, and we use, like I said, of course, our in-house stuff, but we also use geolocating technology and search engine optimization. So when people are in Virginia, wherever they are, if they're searching for like Christian conservative organizations, if they're searching for, Second Amendment, constitutional value, something like that,
Especially
Mount
now.
Patriots would come up and your events would come up.
Great.
So I'll just go through here too. The map, this is just a great example of kind of what's going on. This is, it gives the region a little highlight of what's going on. So you can see I got this 50-mile setting right here. So we've got a couple various events. Right here, I've got my location settings turned on. So it allows me to see exactly how far. Yeah, like I said, that gentleman's event is still viewable right here. And then if we go to the following tab, you can see if he's following anyone, which he's not here, but he does have a couple followers. And that's going to be viewable right up here in this information box. And then, of course, analytics. So it goes into the revenue, average attendees. So it goes to check-in and RSVP to check-in, checking that conversion and drop-off rate. Has a CSV that is downloadable, their contact information. It also gives traffic source of direct, organic, and referral. Where are people coming from that are clicking on this? You can see a view to attendee, their conversion rate there. And then also if there's like some interactiveness, within the past little bit, it'll actually tell you of, hey, you've got some interactivity right here. So it kind of puts it on a map right there for you. But
Now
yeah,
you had the other night you were showing me the different lines on it was like green on one side and red on the other side, and it was about I think it was different issues that people would look at.
so yes, so we did LeadRight.us as like LeadRight America for places people to get involved.
Right.
The gap that we saw, and this is, I'm sometimes I'm like, Spencer, why, like, I'm creating more work on myself, and I think like my family looks at me and like
You
my
sound like my
friends
wife.
like you were insane. I was up till 5:37 this morning doing coding myself because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait for the tech team, and they got up, and I got a call at 7 a.m., 7:30, waking me up. I was like, what? And they're like, you did this? I was like, somebody's got it, man. I'm not going
I
to
love
wait.
it.
But so I'll get a lead right up. But we were like, we are missing a place for information. Like that's one thing too, is information
This
is
is it.
gatekept. It's, there's so many issues with it. So one thing that we did is we said we're going to actually create like a GOTV command center for the states that are under attack in redistricting. And we're going to make as much information of it free as possible. Some of it we had to go out and actually buy large data sets. So we
Right.
charge like, I think it's like 99 cents for like 3 months. Like it's very low, but it's just enough to cover our cost with that. So this is what it looks like. And I will log out right here. So this is what Lead Right Vote looks like. So of course we have all the counties and districts
Right.
in place for people to come and view information about who's running and where. What we're really proud of though are these right here, and I'll go over these too. So we go over the new congressional map, the challenge map, and the interactive map. You can actually toggle in between it to see what are the differences between these two maps. And not only that, you can flip down right here to see, or if I want to select the second district, you can see the member, you can see the demographics of the district, you can see some voting history, and then the counties that are in the
That's what
district.
I was talking about. I
And
found this
that,
really fascinating.
so this is actually my favorite out of the two, which I probably
Yeah.
shouldn't say that because this one is like, I just don't know why I like it so much, but I do. And so that's pretty cool. Voter information, we're working on getting some of that because there's a lot of liability, and Democrats and liberals love to sue. If you get like an address wrong, they're like, "Oh, this person's voter suppressing," or whatever. Like you make one honest to God mistake, and they're like, "We're going to prosecute you for a felony."
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of crossing T's and dotting I's with that. But like we go and we provide stuff like the election laws. Like people, these are changed in certain states, and some, like in Florida, for the better, and then some in Virginia far for the worse.
Yeah.
But people need to know what's going on. And so that's what we do is we look and take it here and we click it out where you can actually see the statutes and what's going on. We provide some historical context for, hey, there's been, illegal ballot harvesting. This is what happened. This is why this still matters, like why we've got to be on guard. It's always a good reminder, how Florida recounts work and stuff, because Florida's had a lot of famous recounts.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it goes through candidates and campaigns. So like we were talking about early, Scott, campaign finance reporting, it can link out to some of those laws directly. So candidates can get a little bit more of that information more clearly.
And I know I didn't get in any trouble because I made sure everything was done. But I do know of one candidate. If you missed your first filing deadline, it was $100. Everyone after that was $1,000. And I know this one candidate missed that first one. I don't think they missed another. But somebody like me, if I miss a filing deadline and it cost me $1,000, there goes my campaign.
Right.
It's there's nobody to really tell you this stuff. You're doing it on your own. And yeah, some people have, got teams and all that, but some little old redneck like myself who said, you know what, school board, you pissed me off. Now I'm going to run.
Right.
There's nobody there to tell you how to do it.
No, that's one of the difficult things too. And there, the party infrastructure and the people that are there, they're not going to help you. It's built
Nope.
for an incumbent. It's not built for a concerned citizen to look and part of me but say, I'm pissed off and
Right,
you
they don't
screwed up and
understand.
I'm going to handle this. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it's not built for us to succeed. So we tried to kind of change that. And I think some of
Yeah,
the
you
two
have.
that I'm about to show you, and I'll show you my favorite one last, but like our Florida Cities Hub. This is one thing that we have right here. So we also try to provide data and context. So I'll give an example of Jacksonville. So we take the
Good friend
city
of mine
limits
lives
of
there.
Jacksonville right here. We, give examples of who current mayor is in the administration, previous administrations, key facts, and then intelligence right here from our proprietary ML. And so we do this in a lot of different cities, mainly the 5 largest in Florida is the ones that we concentrate on. Um, and let me just log in real quick. Oh,
I know you have an onboarding team, don't you?
yes. Yes, yes,
Good.
yes. We have because this one we have an onboarding team that helps with LeadRight America. And this one right here, we haven't fully launched yet. This is like we're putting final touches on it.
Yeah.
So
How long does
I'll go
onboarding
to
take? If we wanted to do something like this,
Mhm.
because we're going to,
Yeah.
if we're going to do something like this, and we have an event coming up in August, okay? Um, how long would the onboarding take for something like that to happen?
We could set y'all up. I mean, we can set y'all up in a day. Like that's not a problem.
And then
Now
learn it to, right.
connecting like a payment processor,
Hmm.
because right now we're kind of a little bit limited on that. That takes a little bit longer, but that's well, I'll put our end is done. It's
It's just, I'm talking
sometimes
about the learning side,
the learning side. Oh
us
yeah,
on the learning side.
yeah. No, we can take onboarding. We can train you however long it takes. We are currently developing some videos right now too.
Right.
And as part of our training, we're actually the only political tech really in the country that actually has a support page and a status page. So we actually incorporate FAQs into it. So where people, you have questions about account billing, compliance data, or tech information, you can go to it. But also, we're the only political tech on either side where you can report an issue, give feedback, or also because I'm sure y'all have gotten 1,000 texts and told it stop, 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 stop bothering me. We actually respect the people that use our platform. We respect our base. So you can submit a request to actually delete your personal data. We reserve the right to, of course, verify it to you before we do that. But whether you're an organizer or you're a like a grassroots user, if you want your information gone, if you want to delete your account or delete your data, you should have that right to do that.
Right. So
And
I
Amen to
don't have
that.
John Cornyn
we've done
4 different places.
right.
You
You're
know what I
not going
mean? Because you get the same person.
And so we send it, we shut it down in that sense. We clear it off from our system. We say, hey, don't contact. We remove that possibility.
Okay.
Now, of course, sometimes people have saved that contact information another way, or what we can't cut it off 100%, but we cut it off from us and we cut the flow. We close the tap up and the well up from our end.
Good to know. Don't
Um,
want to bug
but
people.
on these county insights, and Scott, this is something that's really interesting too, and hopefully we'll have for Virginia within the next 3 months of these updates is so you can come here and look at county insights. So I'll go to Miami in South Florida. So I clicked on Miami-Dade. I'll go down here. So we can look right here. We can look at an
A lot of
overview.
friends there too.
We can look at election history and see what is
Registrar,
going
right.
on. We actually use our VoteRight AI to calculate a turnout percentage of that and map that turnout percentage and track it as well. And we give some current office holders as well, what part of the district or what part of the county that they cover. We give turnout and registration and turnout information along with voter roll churn, party registration trends for every county, ballot types, and those take several
Early
years to
vote, mail
compile for
in.
Florida some reason. So we're still waiting on 2020s, which we're never going to get. by the way,
Right.
from any
Nobody
state.
is.
So I worked in Fulton County for a congressional race, and
Oh,
I
God.
was there when the water line broke, and I
Oh,
was
wow.
literally I was there when it broke with the congresswoman, and it was
Unbelievable.
yeah,
We
proud
watched
of
all
my
of it happen.
yeah, and then we also give like the 2000 presidential cycle as context. So anytime there's a major bellwether election that's really historical like that from the
Right.
past 30 years, we try to give like, hey, this is what happened. And then a statewide turnout context um, in comparison. So we do this for every county. And we also go into voter propensity and give some information about the voters. And then we give field intelligence, which is where I think could be really useful for like small campaigns. So we give Republican strongholds as far as, an estimated percentage, but also we get into the zip codes. We get into known political operations that are in the district or the county. We get into Democrat strongholds. We also do, if there's anything really stand out with absentee ballot or early or advanced voting, we flag that. Um, and we also flag battlegrounds. So all of that is available
Even for a small,
yeah.
so we can pull up even a school board candidate and have the demographics and the analytics on that.
You can put if you can pull up like the zip codes and some of the other stuff. We're still working on improving some of the local stuff.
Well, that's a
The
lot.
way
That's a
that they're
real deep dive, man.
yeah, well, their Department of State too, so it's weird. And it after state, and this is like driving me nuts. And I have a cousin who was like an elected superintendent in Florida, and I called him and I was like, dude, your elections are awful. He started laughing. He was like, the state, this sounds great. The state runs the county commission chairman's election. The counties run all other county commissioner elections. So you have Department of State has 67 of those, and then every other county, some of different numbers of supervisors have their own. So it's just some of that is, it takes a while to verify and make sure that's
Yeah,
done
it's very
correctly. But
convoluted.
at minimum, you can go and get intelligence about the zip codes, where turnout is, and that type of stuff for every county.
I love it. This is not kind of nuts to soup.
And then get this, I think pretty much got most of that shown. I will show you this real quick because I did mention this, and we haven't really published this at all yet, but we are working on the ballots as well as an informational kind of public good. This one we've eaten costs and everything on. I want people to have like, I'm like, this is coming out of my pocket, and I was like, we have so many people that are getting taken advantage of with the ballot measures and initiatives. I think they are. I mean, look, I mean, they tried to ram it through some off cycle, April early election with y'all. So
Amendments to the state constitution.
Yeah,
100%.
they
Yeah,
just like do a bunch of stuff.
and the thing that gets me about some of them is, some of them there's a vote and it's like, okay, my representative voted for or against it. Even if I don't read it, I can get an idea based off of who's supporting it. That tells me a lot too. But when it's just some legislative referral where they vote unanimously, oh yeah, send it to the voters. It's like, huh, what do we do? And so, like for example, I'll pull up Virginia right here.
Because
So
we
like
go
if
to
you
the
said,
LIS system too, so I can see
okay,
you're right. I can see everybody that's in the state house, and I can pull up and see how they voted on each one of those things. But that takes time.
right. No, it doesn't. Let's do this real quick. With our Florida one, once again, we're still improving some of this, and this one's under construction, as you all can see.
Mhm.
But like the budget stabilization amendment and stuff, it gets actually and goes into here to this is the Florida House, how many Republicans and Democrats voted for or against it. It gives it a bipartisan score. And then it also tells you who's supporters and for or against that have made comments in the media. So it gets news articles and verifies or press releases from these offices. So we can see it's, the mainstream, Republican leadership supports this, and then an anti-LICO organized labor is against it, And same thing with like the farm equipment property taxes. It's completely
I've been
bipartisan.
hearing a lot coming out of Florida about property taxes. I mean, he's trying to eliminate property taxes, and he figures that he can do it for 90%, and that money will go back into the county, and they'll spend it on other things, so they'll get stuff out of it and still pay taxes on stuff they bought instead of putting it into a tax bin. DeSantis has got some pretty cool stuff working right now.
He's probably one of the best Southern governors that we've had in the past 60, 50, 100 years. He's probably the most I would say one of the most I met him before he was governor. I just met him when I was in college in DC. I had a friend who was like, "Hey, I'm interning for this guy. He's going to be really big one day," and I was like, "This guy seems boring." Wish I would have been nicer now. No, I was nice. He's a good one though. But he's very calm when you meet him. He's very, you can tell he's very thoughtful. He's very analytical.
He makes a point. When DeSantis needs to make a point, he will make that point.
No, he does, and he does it well too. And then like I said, some of these ballot initiatives, it tells you who's against it. It gives you an idea of where, if there's money being dispersed, where the money's going to go. That's also equally as important. And then it gives a conservative take on it too. And it's just like, hey, this is a tax cut. It appears good on its face. The only person really against it is the most progressive member of the Florida House. Probably good just to do, if he's really against something with taxes, that's, take note of that. We go through Trump and DeSantis endorsement. We're still updating some of this. Like I said, it's under construction. But it gives, who's endorsed, who's not endorsed, and a timeline of that. It gives a DeSantis posture and unendorsed congressional seats. We also do a campaign money tracker. So, who's leading right now in the polls. So it takes the top vote getter and then aggregate for R&D and then takes their
Byron
money.
Donalds, huh?
That's it. That's what the polling says. Well, I think some of that, though, the polling has changed. There's been the gap has closed so much that I think we're going to change the parameters on it, though, to actually have Fishback, Renner, and Collins on it, because that race is.
As you know, that it leans the way they want it to, like in the Kamala Harris race, they made the polling sound like it was. So if she, when they put enough votes in there to cheat, at least it made it look like she made a run for it. Okay. When you go back and you actually look at the votes and you look at how it was done, she didn't win anything. Okay. But they had to keep it propped up on the pollster side. So.
Well, they want to talk about voter suppression. That is voter suppression.
That's voter suppression.
Suppression polls. That's a psychological game. But yeah, and once again, we're still improving this, but this is part of the vote, separate from the ballot tracker. These are just ballots, but this tracks right here the election results and that it was overturned by the Supreme Court and gives a little bit of an insight into that. Right. Also, same here, discusses the gay marriage, a constitutional amendment, like it says.
We got that coming up.
Right. Yeah. I think you mentioned it the other night.
Abortion,
like it was duplicative. It doesn't,
guns,
right. Reproductive amendment right here. And it gives you, we're editing some of the colors on this, but it gives you an average estimated for and against based off of public support about how many Republicans and how many Democrats have been going up there and how many
This
people
is Virginia. Is this Virginia?
Yes, this is only Virginia right here. This is
okay, because I'm looking at it going, wait a second, those are ours.
Rep, and we have this is going to be for every state. So people can come on here and click on this for every state, just as like a public good. We got to get this information out.
For that? What's your timeline to cover every state?
Charlie, I wish I could give you an answer. I really don't know. I can say that at minimum it's going to take about it's going to take 3 weeks, at maximum maybe 6, but we're
I thought you were going to say years.
No.
Yeah, I did too.
I want it done now. I'm the type of
okay, we're good.
Some of us don't have years.
No, we and maybe it's, I don't know, we're very determined, and maybe that's good and bad, and we've been told that both as an insult and a compliment. But
We do the same thing.
Gabriel, our COO, he lives right down the street from me. Actually, we're neighbors too. So
Excellent.
we're fighting it out in the city of Atlanta together. He'll come over and we'll work on it till 4 or 5 a.m. and just work. And it's awesome to have a great brother in Christ and a friend
Yes.
that's in the fight, that's like, hey man, I'm charged up, you're charged up, let's do it.
Yes.
So between that and then a couple of the other people we got bringing on recently, I'm leaning towards probably 4 weeks, but I don't want to make like a
Now
guarantee on that.
that's a great timeline.
Is,
That's a great timeline.
Dana, Scott, do you have any other questions before we wrap up?
No, I don't. But I do want Spencer to give us, tell us where we can find this, where my guys can find this. I'm going to get this out to all the, you know who I'm getting this out to. Okay. Everybody that we work with. And I want him to give his final, where to get in touch with him, how to do it, what he needs, and we'll roll from there, and I'll get this out this afternoon.
Yeah, give us your final thoughts as well, Spencer.
Yeah, I mean, I will thank y'all for having me and allowing me
Thanks
to
for
speak
doing
about
this.
what
This
we're
is
doing.
great.
We're so excited. We're once again just very grateful. God's been very good to get us thus far. And what we really need, though, is we need fellow conservatives. Go on, tell your friends about it. Tell your friends to go to www.lead, L-E-A-D, right, RIGHT.us. Tell them to go to www.leadright.vote and www.leadright.win. And those are where people can see the ballot initiatives. Those are where people can see what's going on in Florida and eventually what they'll be able to see with redistricting in all these states, and where they can get involved across the country. That's a great place to go. We love to help liberty-minded Christian organizations. We love to help people that are true patriots fighting for their country. If there's anything I can ever do, I'll be glad. People can always reach out to me directly. We've got a team, but I'm still glad and love to get to meet people and talk to people. And if there's anything ever I could do, I would love to do it. And if somebody is a member of Mountain Patriots and they're connected to another organization, we will get that organization on for free. Just because I like Dana so much, you can hold me to it. As of right now, I'll stay a test and under penalty of perjury. But if any member that we can help out with another organization, they have to. I'd love to do that for them. It's very rare you get to see other people that are fighting the good fight. So, and it's encouraging too.
In about 6 months, you can use me as a test guinea pig.
Well, come on, Scott.
We'll be up and running before then, Scott. I'm telling you. Spencer, I want to say thank you, man. This was excellent. I know what we're going to do. And folks, I want to thank everybody who's going to take this. I want you to take this and share it with everybody, okay, that that's running for office or thinking about running for office, and just follow what Mountain Patriots is doing. We will put all of the links in the description box below, and I'm going to ask everybody to like this video. Please subscribe because it helps us with our algorithms, okay? And make a comment. If you have a comment that'll help Spencer out and help us out, we want to do that as well, so that we know where we're tracking analytically as well, because we read every comment that we get. And with that, Charlie, do you want to take us out with the Mountain Patriots prayer? Would you like me to?
Sure, I'll do that.
I would love you to. Spencer, thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here today.
Thank you.
Charlie, all yours.
Thank you, Spencer. Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful world and this country that you've given us, and the patriots who are willing to care for it. Thank you for inspiring our founders to create this beautiful republic. Please help us to keep it as the aspiring place to live. Please give us the wisdom to do the right things, the common sense to judge wisely, the energy to never give up, and your unending grace in which we take comfort. Jesus, in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Charlie, Spencer, Scott, thank you so much. We make a great team. And as we always say at the end of every presentation, this one
is in the book.
You guys have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon.